it is Marissa here from Little House Living, and today I am going to give you part 2 of my garden tour, which is showing you the perennial side of my garden. Now this side is mostly unfinished. It is definitely a work in progress. We just put it in last year, and I'm still kind of figuring out what my vision is with it, but I want to show you what I have planted in here, and it's just a really nice day out, so it's a good day to film video outside. And I apologize for the background noise. It's summer, so we're working on a lot of projects here, and I think they're operating the skid loader today. So let me give you a tour and show you what's in here. Okay, so we just walked in the gate. I have a really big gate on this garden, and that's so we can get the skid loader in here still and be able to clean it. Over there you can see my main garden where I have a lot of the fruit trees and my annual vegetables. So when you walk in here, this corner looks like a big mess. It is a first-year asparagus patch, so I was really reluctant to pull anything out of it. But like my annual garden, I need to figure out some way to mulch that. So that's what's in the corner. We'll see how it works out. I started laying this black plastic this year because the weeds in the grass and all of that was just insanely overwhelming in this garden space. I got partway done and it got hot out and I kind of gave up. But it is super helpful, at least for the parts that I got it on. So I eventually will put down some kind of pathways in here and plant more in here. But this is a new garden, so it's a little ugly right now, but it's going to be amazing someday. So over along this wall here is actually, I have some annuals planted because I'm not quite sure what I want in here, but it does work really well with tomatoes. So they're super hard to see because I have a ton of peas growing up the fence here, but I've got peas, I've got a couple tomatoes, I've got some lettuce growing here in front of it. And then down here, I have my pepper plants, which at the moment, I'm just thankful they're alive. I do not do good with growing peppers. So they're alive and they're about a foot tall, which is amazing. So we'll see how those do, but that was just kind of, I've just kind of thrown them in this bed for now because I haven't determined what the long-term purpose is going to be. Oh, Katie decided to join us for the garden tour. You're being a good puppy. Katie knows she's not allowed in the garden because she walks right through the garden beds. You're gonna wait for me. That's a good girl. Okay, distractions. So these crates are sitting right here because we recently used them to cover the peppers because of hail. So they're just gonna kind of hang out there actually until I'm not worried about hail anymore. So this bed looks like a weedy mess, and it probably partially is, but I planted a ton of perennial flowers in here, and at the moment I'm not sure what's a flower and what's a weed, so I'm just kind of leaving that bed go. I'm hoping it'll be like a really pretty pollinator garden by the time stuff comes up, so we'll see how that goes. All right, we're gonna switch over to the other side of the garden. So this corner is pretty much completely, there's nothing in here right now. And I ran out of plastic, so I'm not sure. Eventually, like I said, this is going to have pathways and there'll be more fruit trees and shrubs in here, but I haven't planted that section yet. So, okay, so this first area that we have, I guess I should start by saying, so there's 3 of these planted areas. Each one of them has at least 100 or more strawberry plants on them. I planted those pretty much as ground cover, and we just love strawberry plants. So yeah, so we have a ton of strawberry plants in here. On this end of this first section, these are all black currants. All of the plants that are in this area are from, no, that's not true. I was going to say they're all from the conservation district, but I will show you which ones are from the Conservation District. These black currants are from the Conservation District. Some of them are new this year. I had only planted a couple last year, so I kind of filled in the cracks. This one is from last year. He looks really good. I went with black currants over red currants because they have less diseases, and currants are actually native here, so they can grow really well. So we're excited to see what those do. And then as we walk down here, you can see all the strawberry plants. I have 3 honeyberry plants. Those I did have to buy from a greenhouse because the Conservation District, they don't sell them. Sometimes they do, but they're like a special order and they're really hard to get. Honeyberries are kind of similar to a blueberry, but the plants don't need the same amount of acid in the soil as a blueberry, and they're like an oblong shaped berry. So my husband had these in Minnesota, which is where he's from, and he really wanted us to try some here. So far these plants look like they're doing really good. We're just keeping up with watering them this summer, and hopefully they will make it. But I did have to buy those from the local greenhouse, so they were not very cheap. So we're gonna baby them a lot. So, okay, on the end here, I am trying to make a nice little flower area. My columbines have mostly died, so that's not good. I have grass taking over. And then I do have some of the hens and chicks in here, which are actually doing really good. And then I have some lupines, which are also doing really good. We actually have wild lupines here. They don't quite look like this, but I knew that lupines could grow here because I have wild ones. So I'll fix it up. It'll look good eventually. This is my life with 3 children and owning a business. It's okay. Okay, this is gonna be hard to see because it's in the shade. So we'll walk down here. So this bed has really nice strawberries. We're getting really excited about some of these. They're looking so good. So this bed has mulberries in it. I have 2 little mulberry, I think they're supposed to be trees. They kind of look like shrubs to me, but I'm not 100% sure I can grow mulberries here, but we're gonna try it. Mulberries is another thing that my husband loves, so we got 2 of them. This is their 2nd year. They need pruned really bad, but they're alive, so that's something. And then over here on this end in the shade, these are plum trees. These are a different kind than I have in the garden. I believe these are prairie red and bounty plums, which are still kind of a wild plum, but not quite the same as the American plum, which is what I have planted in my other garden, and all of those are looking really nice. All of those are from, all of these trees, the mulberries and the plums, are from the Conservation District. So they only cost $3 a tree, which is amazing for fruit trees. And then on the back row here, of course, more strawberries. And then I have a couple of June berries. They look like they're doing okay. So June berries are also known as service berries. I think they have a couple other names. They're native to Canada. Kind of similar to the honeyberry. They're kind of like a blueberry, but don't need the acid in the soil. So we are trying them here to see if we can grow them. And I did try to plant some last year. They did not make it. I don't know if it's just because we got so hot in the summer, but we're trying it again this year to see if I can make it through, get them to make it through the winter. And then you can see our construction zone. So my greenhouse is still under construction, but I am gonna show it to you today. It is still full of weeds. It is definitely a work in progress, but we're gonna go in there and I'm gonna show you the amazing things that are happening. Along this fence, I did plant a couple sand cherries, which are a tart cherry. We are in zone 4, so we can't grow sweet cherries here. but I have a plan for that too. So, and then one more area, I started working over here in this section. My vision for this section at some point would be a very large raspberry patch. I'd kind of like to get some of the wild raspberries and plant them in here because we have wild raspberries in our area, and just kind of so I know where they're at. And then this area I started planting strawberries in because I don't think you can ever have enough strawberries. But this is a very large work in progress, and I couldn't do anything with it this year. We needed to get the skid loader in this part of it so that we could work on the greenhouse, because it's not quite done yet, but it is getting there. Let me get a better angle. I have a big tree in my garden. I think I need to hang a hammock in it. All right, so this is my greenhouse. It is 18 feet by 36 feet, and it is 14 feet tall. The purpose behind this greenhouse is to have an orchard in it. We live in zone 4, which means we're pretty limited on some of the things that we can grow here. And there's some stuff that I really want to grow, but gets hailed out every year. So we did this greenhouse primarily so it can have an orchard inside of it, but also to protect from the hail. And we are setting up a hydroponic system in it as well. So like I said, I'm warning you before we go in there, it is very much a work in progress and it is not finished yet, but we're gonna go in here and check it out. So these are my peach trees. So I have 2 yellow peaches, which are these 2 here, and then 2 white peaches, which are slightly taller. These are semi-dwarf, self-pollinating peach trees. I ordered them from a nursery in Washington, since it's not something that we can buy here because it's not something we can typically grow here. I did plant these last year, and then we covered them all up in plastic and in a heavy concrete heat blanket for the winter. And they made it through the winter last year because I did not have the greenhouse built yet. So I'm super excited. I think they look really good for 2-year-old peach trees. Got some weeds over here we haven't taken care of yet, and I also have some tomatoes that are gonna get planted in here shortly. But the peaches are definitely my favorite part. And we're very, very excited because we have little peaches on our trees. I don't see any on the yellow ones, but both of the white peaches have peaches on them. So those are going to be the best peaches we've ever had. We're super excited. So I have those 4 peach trees planted in here so far, and then they're hard to see, but I do have 2 little fig trees planted over there. This section is the section that we're actually getting done with. We're leveling it off, we're fixing the ground. I am planning on putting burlap in here so the weeds don't grow back in this area. And then we need to obviously get a fan in here. And then here is in not a very good place right now, but I'm moving it. This is my hydroponic system. It holds 36 plants. And I've chosen to grow cucumbers in it, and I am going to trellis them up because they're getting really big. But you guys, I have cucumbers growing in here, and I normally cannot grow cucumbers at all. I don't know why, it's just one of my deficits. So I've got a little bit of kale growing in the front, otherwise I have cucumbers. We really wanted to try the hydroponic system. We have limited water here, so we thought the recycling of water would be helpful, but I wanted to start with a smaller system, which is why I got the 36 count tray. And then, so we're testing it out. This is my first summer using it to see how well it works, but I'm pretty excited because there's stuff growing in it that I can't normally grow. Okay, so my camera keeps shutting off on me because it's getting too warm. So I'm going to finish up this tour, and I hope that you enjoyed it and it gave you some ideas of what you might be able to grow in your garden. This is just very early summer here, so things haven't really started taking off yet. But I will give another tour update as the garden progresses later. I will see you guys in the next video.